president has assented to the new bills, we need to hasten slowly on its implementation. Do you agree?
We were listening to Joe Jackson of Delex Finance before we spoke with Josh Ransa, and we went on that break. And something that struck me was the comment from Joe Jackson concerning the cutting down of government expenditure.
Right.
And what he says is that it's a moral issue. He made that statement, and that it's not really going to make a dent. But he did go on to say that government must make these cuts.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's for the optics, for the morale, to really prove that we're burden sharing. So I think that this morning we can start to shift that focus a little bit, because who has not mentioned that government must downsize, government must be prudent, government must watch what it spends its money on, government must reorganize its priorities? It's like beating a dead horse. The horse is dead. We've said these things time without number. Now we are here. And I think what Joe Jackson was saying is that what is the way forward?
That's right.
Now, whilst we're still insisting and making these calls that government do what it needs to do, and we're also, really taking up our part in burden sharing, should we now, some might use the go home, because this is where we are.
We are suffering, so let's give up everything.
Right now, as Ghanaians, should we be of the mindset that this burden sharing, really, it looks like we have to put our all into it and really back government, because we've told them downsize, do this, do that. Experts are saying, really, that's a moral issue. It's for the optics. It won't really make a dent. Should we be reorienting our minds to now accept that this is where we are, and we have to really give in to government's demands to see our way out? That is what, that is the general feeling that I'm getting at the moment, is that we do not have a choice. That is how it feels at the moment, that if we don't...
By hook or crook.
If we don't accept what government is telling us is the only way out, there is nowhere else for us to go. Was it the German ambassador?
Yeah, the Germans.
Who said that the size of government is big.
It's so large.
I mean, not even the
who give us money.
Yes, not even the people who we've asked to go and beg on our behalf. Comments can really change. It's seemingly making any difference. So now, do we have to reorient our minds that this is where we are? We have to bear the full brunt as Ghanaians. We now have to do anything and everything to make sure that we get this deal and see our way out. Government on its part, we've seen what they can do. We've seen what they are doing. Their calls have been made. They're not listening. Ghanaians, do we now take matters into our own hands and just decide that, well,
I can imagine Mr. Faraja and his team before the German ambassador and his team saying, Nana, make a bima.
The Gufadu to sing, who has the final say?
Me, Nana, I have the final say.
Because that is what I gathered from what Joe Jackson said, is that right now,
the one has the final say on the economy.
Exactly. So right now you are resisting. Because the deal is not coming. What are you resisting?
It's not. I mean, and watchers of the space have said that. Look, they thought that when Alan Kojo Chirmanting and their Greek minister, the former Greek minister Fere Kuto, left, and they decided that they were going to contest for the presidency of the country on the ticket of the NPP, the president would have taken the opportunity to merge some of the ministries, so that at least that will give an indication to organized labor, the pension bondholders, individual bondholders, some of still who are crying for their monies even beyond 2-3 months of maturity. Because those that matured in February, I'm told some have still not been paid up until this time. They are still fighting and asking for their monies. He had the golden opportunity to have merged some of the portfolios, scrapped some of the portfolios. Nana will not listen to anybody.
This conversation, I have only one line song. Anado has the final say. I say, who
has the final say? Nanado has the final say.
Master, this is what we've been talking about this since
economy around.
Since we've been talking about merging ministries, cutting expenditure, doing this. The man is still there doing what he says he's in a hurry, so let's see how he goes. Quite frankly, what again are we going to say?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because what the German ambassador said was nothing new from what the professors at the University of Ghana Business School predicted 2 years ago, 2019, even as far back as 2019. Professor Lord Mensah and all those people. They mentioned things that Professor Bokpin, they came on our shows and said A, B, C, D. Cut your government, take your even Otunfo.
Yes, Otunfo has even said it. His Royal Majesty
we describe it, some of the projects as what? Is it fancy projects?
Yeah, fancy projects.
Forget about them. Yeah. And let's tighten the macroeconomic environment, then let's see what happens.
This whole Agenda 111, all the other projects, as you would always say.
Yes.
Yesterday we wrote at another 600 million.
Yes.
Project.
You've broken down a huge
hospital. You have not finished. 2 years on.
Charlie, what is finished?
They
haven't started.
No, the minister.
They finished as if they have started.
No. I want to give the minister the benefit of the doubt. The minister goes to Parliament to say, work is ongoing.
Which going?
Didn't you hear the minister?
But we've gone there. Yesterday we were there.
We've gone there, yes.
It's not like they've started and they haven't finished. They haven't started. And you have launched 111. What is that? So you just always tying yourself up, and tightening everything for everybody to just feel so tight.
The man is a winner.
Kovanochi, there was a 44 or something year old project that was also.
Yes, a Champon regime.
What has happened?
No, so he went. Second lady went there. We made a whole lot of noise about it. We started it. It's stalled. We have not finished.
Life is simple, but we insist on making it complicated, Confucius.
Okay.
So the conversation is simple. You don't have to spend too much time talking.
Is born to succeed. William, you have nothing on him, please.
The man
is a winner. He's a winner. The man is winning. The way we are going, we are winning. There's nothing that will stop the man from winning. What are you talking about?
But you see we have been, soon we will be beaten into submission. I'm saying this because the same Mr. Joe Jackson, who this morning says that listen, at this point let's give in so we can move forward. He's the same person last year, towards the end of last year, said that we were already on the edge. COVID-19 aftershocks, the war, they came and just tipped us over the edge. And I like to repeat that because I feel like it gives a picture, if you put it in your mind, that you are just on the edge of the mountain and these things came and pushed you over. Had you been in the middle, had you been closer to safety, those things might give you a push, maybe even a violent push, but not to the extent that it tips you all the way over. You will have some stability, you can start to move forward. Government did not listen to anything, even going to the IMF. There were calls for government to go earlier. They said, no, we've got it under control. We know what we're doing. And we are. Here we are. We know what we're doing. We won't go. Had we gone sooner, our fortunes could be different. When William says things are tight,
Charlie.
The man says he knows how to bring the economy back. You are here shouting.
And postulating. Nana is a winner. You have nothing on him. I tell you, you have nothing. The man doesn't know how to bring back dead people. That's why he wants to build Agenda 111. That's why the progress is happening at La General Hospital. So they should forget.
So can we just agree today as Ghanaians that we concede? Government knows what they are doing. They should take everything. Come and take our pension. Come and take e-levy. Whatever they want. Put all the taxes on there and then let's get this deal and move forward. Because at this point, what else? Should we just concede that this is the only way to go? We have nowhere else to turn.
What else? I remember Sarkozy.
The recent decisions are not decisions that the government is genuinely taking because they think it will move them. It is because a certain somebody is telling them to take those decisions.
Big brother is in town.
I mean, if they knew they were going to do this, they would have done it long ago. And IMF is saying, do this, so they are doing it.
The new 3 taxes, IMF is the one asking for it. The COVID expenditure audit, IMF is the one asking for it. Every single thing, job freeze, this, that, IMF is the one asking. And we've been through it before. Before the NPP came into power, John Mahama had his own set, where John Mahama even had to cancel a nursing trainee allowance and teacher trainee allowance. It was a political issue because I also blame him. He also rode on it politically. So when the people got him, they hit him down there, and that's become one of the key points. I say you cancelled it, and we even brought in the quota system. So whenever IMF comes in, IMF will dictate the pace. Now I'm saying that the government will say, "Oh, we were doing very well before COVID came," and we had an IMF program that we extended until 2019. Then just when we were wrapping up 2019, we got into 2020. That was when the IMF came in again. We ran back to the IMF. So what are you talking about? What exactly are we talking about?
I wouldn't sit here and say that the MPP government or the NADO hasn't done anything. When it comes to the tourism ministry, I'm talking about tourism because we have tourism, arts and culture. I'm talking about tourism, not arts and culture. Tourism, they've done well. I mean, over the years, year of return, beyond the return, I mean, it's something that we cannot sit here and discredit anybody for. They've done well. When it comes to the Attorney General's department, they've done well. They've gone and won some huge cases for Ghana.
Equidistance between Ghana and Ivory Coast and all of that. Yeah.
But when it comes to the economy, the president has said that we're in a crisis. We haven't done well.
But what part of the blame has he taken?
That's one.
Because we had Richard Ahagba here, and he speaks obviously for the MPP.
Yes.
And he said that they can admit that times are hard, and that's where it ends. We admit times are hard.
But times are hard.
And that was
we agree. But how did we get here? Who brought us here?
It's where we find ourselves.
But what do you want
we
them
woke
to
up
do?
one day and we found
To
ourselves
accept
somewhere.
and apologize.
See, when Moses led the Israelites, at some point he admitted that, look, I have not done so well. And God even told him that you will see the promised land, but you will not enter. The next person to take us is what? Joshua and Caleb, correct? The next person to take us in there, Joshua and Caleb. Now,
but all those, they were not Christians. So.
Joshua and Caleb has been mentioned by
They are not Christians.
So our Bible quoting finance minister once upon a time mentioned Joshua and Caleb. Listen to him.
But I can tell you, as my colleague, Deputy Minister said, we are not going to the IMF. Whatever we do, we are not. The consequences are there. We are a proud nation. We have the resources. We have the capacity. Don't let anybody tell you. Like when Joshua, Caleb, and the 10 others went to spy on the promised land. And only 2 of them came to say that we can do it. And the 10 went around the community murmuring, you can't, We are not people of short sight, you know. And we have to move on. Okay. So let's think of us as who we are, a proud, strong people, the shining star of Africa, and we have the capacity to do what we want to do. If only we can speak that one language and ensure that we burden share in the issues ahead. Thank you.
3FM Sunrise.
3FM Ane Champon there, bringing us to 38 minutes after 8 here on 3FM 92.7. Okay. When next we go, La General Hospital, or do we stay with GUTA? Helen.
I'm
fine
very
girl, no they frustrate. Slow down.
I'm very distressed
Slow
this
down,
morning,
slow
gentlemen.
down,
Very
slow
distressed
down.
because from what I'm hearing, Johnny.
Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. We will take care of you. Jesus are watching. Yeah. Jesus are watching.
That it will affect our pensions. I don't think it will be realistic for us to actually accept that new proposal. Our original position still stands. Organized labor is meeting to actually make its position known, exempting our pension funds from this program. It's still intact. It has not changed.
And we've done our analysis on the proposal, and that satisfies our cash flow for the next 5 years. So we are okay. That's the health pension of occupational pension scheme. We are okay. We are also part of the, but we, based on our cash flow needs, we are satisfied it's going to meet our cash flow needs. So we don't have a problem with the new proposals that have been brought up. It satisfies our cash flow.
It is the case that in a jury trial, these jurors are the judges, the ultimate judges. They will decide whether the accused person is guilty or not. You see, so they are judges when it comes to the ultimate. And so in their absence, the trial cannot go on. So they will stall, the cases will stall, the trials will stall until that issue has been resolved so that the jurors can return to work. Yeah, so exhortation. So the judge can appeal to them and ask them to, we all know times are hard.
And we've done our analysis on the proposal, and that satisfies our cash flow for the next 5 years. So we are okay. That's the health pension of occupational pension scheme. We are okay. We are also part of the, but we, based on our cash flow needs, we are satisfied it's going to meet our cash flow needs. So we don't have a problem with the new proposals that have been brought up. It satisfies our cash flow. Totality, they're talking of an average of about 21% coupon rate, giving us a 5% initial coupon rate to 8%. And then it culminates into 21% on the whole rate. So we have done our cash flow analysis and we are satisfied.
Let's go on to the phone lines now. 43 minutes after 8 on 3FM 92.7, the Sunrise Morning Show. Former Attorney General Nia Ikwe Otu and former ambassador to Canada, His Excellency, joins us on the phone line now. Gadangbe Youth yesterday protested and presented a petition on a myriad of issues that were outstanding for them He joins us on the phone line now. Ni, good morning. Mi Bamanye. Ni, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good.
Great. Ni, why was it necessary to have presented a petition yesterday on the salad of issues that you thought were important, particularly to Gadangbe youth?
I understand you are also Gadangbe, is that right?
Present, sir.
So that all the issues that confront us, equally confront you as a Gadangbe.
Ni, I'm in the frame. I can't see the picture. Paint it for me.
So what is happening is that it is important that those of you in the media should also take part in what we are doing and don't leave it to us alone. Everywhere we go today, people are putting signs of Akwaba in Accra. People are putting signs of welcome Akwaba. Yet, you and I, who are not a small boy, should be aware that in Ghana, we also say Awa too.
That's right, Awa too.
The other Gadangbe people say Moye or Moye.
Right.
So why is it that in Accra we are being told that we don't have an equivalent of Akwaba? So they should supplant their language over us. You know, once your language dies, your culture dies. Now look at ours. It is more dramatic. I have to move towards the person coming while I'm saying Awa. And when I get close to the person, I embrace the tune. Which one is more formidable than this Akwaba? If you say Akwaba, what does it mean? Do you go and embrace the person? And this is what is happening in Accra. And we are drawing attention that they should stop it.
I see.
Dignitaries come to Accra and they never pay homage to the government. They are quickly whisked out of Accra and taken to other places outside Accra. Is the government or the Ghana leadership not entitled to such visits?
The question of who the Gamanche is comes up each time this comes off, because
it's neither here nor there. I'm saying you are a politician, sorry, you are a journalist and a gap. The law is that when the person is gazetted, is the one that government works with. Are you aware?
Right.
So if the person has been gazetted, what problem do you have?
On record, Adamalache has been gazetted. Ni Takiteko Churu has also been gazetted. Two of them.
It's not true. Ni Adamalache's gazette was taken out. Do you remember? And he went to court to ask the thing to be restored.
Right.
The judge gave it to him. They went to court of appeal and asked that they should be paid. So for now, the only person whose name appears in the gazette is the present chief. That is all. So we work with whoever is there.
I see.
And I don't want us, rather, to be saying, to be putting spokes in our wheel. Let's move on with the gazetted chief for now.
Sorry, Ni. So there's leadership.
Yes.
How has the Gadangbe positioned itself to be able to attract the kind of welcome and the authority that we're looking at? Because I remember growing up as a boy, state functions always had either a certain Wolomo, chosen to go and pour libation or make libation. These days, you hardly find those things happening. And I'm asking where the departure came from.
That is where I'm coming to. They are supplanting our culture with other cultures. We have the depot dance. I didn't watch it before.
Right.
The depot dance is as beautiful as any other dance. And yet, when we have foreign dignitaries, we bring somebody or some people all the way from the same country or get the Ghana dance ensemble to come and dramatize there. We can equally do ours here. Again, this was it when we were growing up. A Naya Wulomo or somebody would fall like this. And I'm glad you spoke about it because I served in Canada. In Canada, the original owners of the land, whom they call First Nations, or otherwise Inuit, the Inuit people owned the land before the Christians came and took it away from them. what they decided is that anytime they are doing a program on the Inuit land, they will call them to come and pour libation. You won't believe it. They have their own chiefs, and they also pour libation. And it is respected. And after they've done that, they will pay homage to the Inuits and say that we are doing something on your land. This is happening in Canada. Why should we stop it here? In whose side have we stopped it? Why? Assuming that there are even two Ulome, and decide you want to do a program and say, bring me a Ulomo, and the other Ulomo come and stop the procession with all the state apparatus around. Would it be possible? But somebody has found a clever way of refusing to display our culture. So now nothing. And yet there are so many of them who love it. They just love it. When we went to the Gamanche's place, some of them were looking for is, hey, when will the libation be poured? And then when he did it, they were so happy. These are not supposed to be Jadanese. But I tell you, they understand that. And they were all happy the way the libation was poured. So that is another key point that we have been talking about. Language teachers. People go, do their language, learn Ga, ready to come and teach. I'm told that when they make you major in only one Ghanaian language, their fear is that you become so circumscribed that if you don't get a teaching or something job, a radio program or something, then your degree will not work for you. So they always ask them to do a combined honors degree. Now, once they see that you have written that and something, then they post you outside Accra.
Really?
While you can make use of the other subjects, leaving us alone, and then when you claim that they are not speaking that, they tell you that they are no teachers. I don't know whether you haven't heard of that.
All right. I've seen a letter from the quarters of the Gamanche when I think a Valley View or so, a school around the EB area, said that they couldn't find teachers, so they were opting for Tree instead.
Yes, that's what they are doing. And they are teaching Aquapen Tree and always asking for Aquapen Tree teachers. And that is what they are forcing children to learn. If you are not lucky and your child is in the school where they don't teach about Aquapen Tree, that is what is going to learn. Is this helpful to our culture? Should we sit down, you journalists and the rest, should you sit down and look on while these things continue without adding your voice to the common struggle? People like Israel, people like Evans Mensah, me, Apani Ashali. You know, these are Gadangme children. They are either Ghans or Dangmes. And they are all looking on, and these things are happening. So this is something that I am very happy when he told me I was going to talk to you, that these are people who should understand the issues and broadcast them. We should not joke with these things. How many of us are in the security services that when a gunman goes to police, is taken to police station, they ask him to write a statement in Tree? If he doesn't understand, that is his problem. I did a case for someone. He was driving a Uber and an accident occurred. He was charged with careless driving. And then I looked at the statement, and the statement was written in Tree. And I asked him how come. He said, well, that is what the policeman said. He could speak. So he went and spoke Tree. Now, from the part of the case, the man was not at fault at all. If I'm backing out into a side lane, and you are driving or riding on the motorbike, and you come to hit the front tire, how can I be at fault? The one who saw me and could have avoided the accident, I came all the way to hit my front tire, and you are telling me, and I put in an appeal, and I said that he did not understand the process. When I sent it to the Attorney General's Department, they agreed with me and said they were not opposed So I applied for bail pending appeal, and he was granted bail. He's out today. Look at what has happened to him. Just because they don't care. The police administration doesn't care. Putting any gun, police officer, or even an interpreter who they can always bring. Look, the Constitution says that when you are arrested, you should be told of the reason of your arrest in the language in which you understand. Have you read that portion of the Constitution?
Yes.
So, if I'm to give a statement, and now I'm being forced to give a statement in something, a language I don't understand, this is fair to us. And you think we should look on for such injustices to be perpetrated? You understand?
I see.
Now look at Accra Central School. A school was there. They decided to
Sorry.
reconstruct it. I think when we went to the district, it has gone to about 4 stories or so. You go to that place and then it seized completely. And brother, do you think of what happens to the students who were then attending the school? Our visit showed that these people have now been offered a place at the Freeman Memorial, which is close to the place. They have offered them somewhere to attend school. What is happening to the rest who cannot get opportunities? And we are looking on and nobody cares. No explanation is being given. Look at Alaga Market. The same demolition exercise went on. Our mothers, our sisters, our aunties who trade there. Do they care about them? Do they care? They don't care. The people are struggling and sitting at home. Really nothing. Look at Accra Community Center. Our understanding is that it was built by UAC and given to the Traditional Council. When you go there, you see what they have written. And they take it to Traditional Council. Our own AMA, during the time of
Natunu Amatefio. Is it Engineer Natunu Amatefio? Mensa, right. Okay.
If Mensa decided to use it for offices, decided that part could be used for tribunals. Do you remember? And all kinds of things. They used the place for something unrelated. And they themselves took part of the building for their land guard. And the frontage, they have hijacked the frontage and they give it to the bank people around to come and park their cars there and to collect monies from them. They have destroyed the entire frontage. We can't do anything there. When we were young, football matches were played there. We had even art rallies were held there. I remember the first time I saw Buzi was on that park when we were doing Progress Party.
Progress Party.
My mother was CPT, so when I came home, I said, "Oh, man, I like again, that you if you are getting that you if you are getting." And that was the first time I saw him. Well, this car rallies were held there. There, if you remember, when Akampon took over, he decided to visit all the regional capitals. And he entered in Accra. And I remember his solid words that he used. I greet you, the great people of Greater Accra. And we held a Homowa party on that ground. And a Deba for him. Look, they've taken away, and they should know better.
But who allowed all of these things? It seems to suggest that you're saying that the people of Ghana are being hounded out of their own space. But who allowed?
Pushing us into Kamframsu.
But who allowed it, me?
Who should allow? They are the government. The government has every right to do whatever I want. Unless you go to court and the court listens to you, what else can you do as an individual?
But
you think we can do anything? We have to make points. We have to go on demonstrations. That is what we are doing. We have to picket. Why can't we picket at the Ministry of this government that we spoke about? He himself wrote letters to the ministry asking them to bring back those guys to Accra for them to come there. They promised nothing on that. As we speak, no Ga, not one Ga language teacher has been brought back. We can only do that by peaceful demonstrations, picketing, and the rest. There's nothing we can do. If we go to court and you are not lucky, they will rule against you and they will rather get more chance to do whatever they are doing. But as for demonstrations and picketing and the rest, that will have got nothing to do with court. And it will draw attention with our placard. That is what we are looking at now.
There's also the question of lands. There are Ghanaians who are selling off their lands left, right, center. There are heritage homes that are being traded off. And you see skyscrapers coming up. You ask who owns this, and suddenly you don't know who owns it. It's not a Ghan. I come from Louisa House at Palladium. Now, we have refused to sell our land because we see it as a heritage. But many Ghanaians would not see that, and they'd rather trade it off. That is also an issue that must be dealt with, correct?
I'm very, very much aware. As a citizen lawyer, I will tell you the problem. Because our people don't branch out, they don't leave the family house. They all stay there. The place becomes choked. And then the next thing that somebody will bring about is that, why don't we sell it and share the money so we all go and look at our individual homes? We will go and buy either completed houses or land to build our own homes. That is one of the greatest dangers that we are going through now. If the people over the years have gone to school, have improved themselves, nobody will live in one room or two rooms at those places. I said, as a citizen lawyer, I'm aware where our chambers were located was Kamakro House at Akotolante. The problems from Gamashi all come to us because they know Adama Pio Otu associated that we are gone.
That's right.
So they bring the problems to us. When you ask them why you are still living in the house, they said, oh, in Papa Chile, then the others say, we don't have space, so we share. Now, if you ask, what kind of building is that? Would you believe that it is a Swiss building on which they have put mortar? It is a Swiss building on which they have put mortar. So what we need to do is that, like you, coming from that house, I don't believe that you live there. You go there for homework.
That's right.
Exactly. But when we branch out, you know where I live? I live on the Sprinters Road. My family house is Accra, near Agbonkwata, Trocadero, Chagon. But then I have another one at Sepe. I have absolutely nothing to do with it. But those who are not doing well are fighting there, doing their, extension. And the worst part is that instead of a Ghana woman getting married to whoever he wants to marry, and then leaving the house to go and live in the man's house, they live in the family house and bring the man to come and live there, and they give birth to other names that have no connection with the progenitor, whoever it is, who started the family at all. And there is a constant fight between the real owners whose father's property it is and this woman who has brought in other people. I have been talking about, and I'm sure if you cast your mind about, you will see that that is what is happening. So most of these so-called ancestral homes that are being sold, it is not because the people want to sell, but they are telling you that they have no space in that house. And so the best thing to do is to sell it, convert it into cash, so they can go and look for land to go and build. Those who are selling land, and I will talk about it again, when Rawlings came, he brought about a law called PNDC Law 42. he said that no family or stool land should be sold outright, that all of them shall be made leases. Do you know what the Ghana people wanted to sell their land did?
Tell me.
They changed it and said they were doing deeds of gift. I am a lawyer, I've gone through it. So they will come and say, prepare a deed of gift for us. A deed of gift. And so when they send it to land, lands will see it as a deed of gift and not a sale. Meanwhile, they have collected the full amount. Now, Mameliaka Memphiti, Abutia, you can lay shore equal. So these are the issues, not that we don't talk.
I see.
We talk and we have told them. There are many of the ancestral. What is happening to Agbado, where you come from, is not far from Agbado.
That's right.
Go and look at it. There are about 2 houses, the next street, where we used to call Dr. Kofi Annan.
Dr. Kofi Annan, all those places.
It got built. And the house next to it, they have sold it. So they tell you, I mean, if you have made it well and moved out of the house, why can't the others move out? And then make it a family house that whoever has nowhere to live can come and stay there. And not that we are using it as the only home that we can stay. But each one should go and find his own property. Why can't we do that?
I see. Again, the question of stool lands, because you mentioned it. In recent time, the Achi Motan land became a subject matter, willed forever in somebody's will who is not even a Gan of blessed memory. The matter is before court, so I won't go into the merits of the matter. But we saw that from the quarters of the Gan Manche, a letter was written, signed by Ni Adote Ontinto, the first, to say that the matter was being investigated. It's been more than 6 months, if I can remember, and yet we don't have the records or the results of the investigation. Meaning investigation, I feel on Agbena.
Okay. The point of the matter, as I said, as individuals, there's not much we can do. Look, it is a state-acquired land for Achimota Forest Reserve. Now, it is to be looked after by the Forestry Commission and the Land Commission. Now, we all know that you can write to the Land Commission to release part of these lands for us. Most of our best lands can be released, part can be released. Recently, if you remember, in our country, prime lands were released and returned to the Asante, and everybody was told that he is a landlord now. Anybody who has land there should go to him for a document, and they should pay all their ground rent
That's
to
correct.
him.
That's correct.
Now, so that can also be done. But when our people write, then you see confusion rearing up its head. Why they are united, that it is only the Asante who is asking for the return. You try it, and it is Osu family. You try it, and it is some other family from another place. All kinds of people claim that they are the owners of that land. Now, what happens is that in our confusion, government will tell us that we don't know who to deal with. Government says we don't know who to deal with. This man says is the owner. That man says it's been a while, so I've forgotten all those claimants. But I can assure you that it was not one claimant. It was due to that everything got stalled. Meanwhile, you can see now, if somebody says, give me, say, 20 acres of land, then the government or whoever it is, the Lands Commission, decides to make it 150. Who requested for that? And after having taken away the 20, what happens to the rest? Create, loot, and share. You see what is happening?
I see.
So I'm saying that we are powerless. We can only make noise. But there's not much we can do. Because it is not for us to determine who controls what.
But also, you agree with me that there have been instances where requests have been made to the state to return lands that were acquired from either a stool or whatever it is to be used for a certain purpose in the interest of the state. And then after some time, when those lands have not been applied for the purposes for which they were acquired, the state finds it necessary to return the lands to the rightful owners. And then right there and then, the lands begin being sold. Go to Chain Homes, Chado, all those places. They have all manner of fancy name these days. But when I was growing up, you knew them as Chado and all those locations. What's going on?
Yes. It is not only that, but those ones, you put the blame squarely at the doorstep of the land owners to which the lands were returned. You see, we have two means of doing that. One is when they return the land to you as the original landowner because they cannot, they are not going to use it for the purpose for which it was acquired. But then if you look at the Constitution, what it says is that you should pay back the compensation which was given to you. But in most cases, they have not even paid the compensation at all because of conflicts of claims. This one says I'm the owner, that one says is the owner, that one. So at the end of the day, and I can assure you, all those lawyers leading the charge are not Katangis. They go in for other tribes, lawyers from other tribes, to lead it and take 10%, 15%, whatever, when the matter is resolved.
Okay.
That is done for you. So these are issues that we have spoken about, and we need to sit down with the chiefs and try to hold the deba and explain the laws to them. Because it is not that they don't know, but they are deliberately refusing. I remember that in the Chado matter, the people set up a land trust. If you pass there is a big signboard. If you have seen it before, showing the land trust and all that. So they get it to a land trust and ask them to rather see to allocation. The first question you have to ask yourself is why allocate it to foreigners or non-indigenous to go up the land when your own people are living in family houses and they are fighting among themselves because the 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom is not sufficient for them. Why don't you bring these people, rather allow them to build so that the area becomes Adamwi? I remember when I was made the lawyer for Nwa, and I realized that there were too many conflicts with land. So I told them, why don't we give the land rather to estate developers? Now, my idea is that reserve 1/3 of the land to that you have given to estate developers to Nwa NDC.
Right.
And then during Homowo, let them celebrate their Homowo and let them speak the Ga within the community.
The community, right.
Before I could say Jack, we're going to create the one behind the papaya where a family used to stay, forgotten the name.
Regimano.
They're going to create it without reference to what I said. They didn't even tell me. They didn't even allow me to prepare the document, the leasehold document. They went and gave it out. And they did not go according to the plan I gave. You go there now, nobody speaks that. And they've lost the land completely.
I see.
And then when they start, the amount of money involved, they cannot pay. Because these people are united. When one goes abroad, it helps they help the rest to come and join them. So together they stay there. They can bring foreign estate, multiply it, and buy the land.
I see.
How many of our Gangwe people are helping others to go abroad?
Ningmene lumoyelie ngo. She in lake ayole money yo ayele money homo yole. If you look at the people who are putting themselves up or either, trying to wrestle power to go and sit on a certain chair. Today you pass here, there's one Asafwa chair. You pass here, there's another Asa. There's Shippy. You can have like 3-4 Asa for one community. And the kind of violence that is being demonstrated, guns and all of that, would you blame all of what you have narrated to us on the kind of leadership? Because if you mirror what's happening, for example, in the Ashanti region, where the Tumfo is the monarch of all his surveys. He is the one who sits at the apex. Once he speaks, it's final. And you look at a leadership style where La Mancha is autonomous, Osu Mancha is autonomous, Bese Mancha is autonomous, Otublohu Mancha is autonomous, Lantejawe Mancha is autonomous, Asere Mancha is autonomous, and then there's Gamanche, who it's, if you like, ceremonial, spiritual, put that together. Would you blame the style of leadership on where the Ga State finds itself?
That has been the situation. And some of us have said that we can always have a confederacy. The nature of our institutions show that we are not under one individual. There is no evidence of contest by the government, and there is no evidence that in even installing a government, we have a role being played by the other chiefs that you have answered. It is like they do their own thing and they can inform the government. There was a time that we had something we call Amudina. And when you are elected, you come to Amudina.
Right.
Look at Mabasha to the government. But if you look at the language, what they are saying is that what tell me lady, tell me Shwane, Alonoko, Maheli not because of anything, but when we have a common enemy, we shall come together to fight. Otherwise, leave your day, let me also leave my day.
Right.
That is the thing. So my solution is that let us form a confederacy, which is a matter of an agreement. So all the others now agree that we're going to make the government our super paramount. We are all chiefs and we prepare to come under him. Now he has tried to make a point. When they wrote that they wanted to become paramount and that the Miyamugi had written that he had elevated them, the matter was referred to a subcommittee of the National House of Chiefs, and they set up committees to go into the matter. At the end of the day, they said no, Osula Tashinwa and Tema should be restored because they have always been on their own. And that this thing took place as a result of Native Authority Ordinance, which was passed by the colonial people.
I see.
The procedure was that they believe in indirect rule. And the indirect rule means they are ruling through our chiefs. So if they don't get all of them at one place, it will be difficult to disseminate information. So they brought about a Native Authority Ordinance, and that's all the chiefs to come under the government check. This is how it started. But if you remember, one of those who started the problem was the La Manche at the time. Forgetting the name. La Manche at the time said they were not under the government check.
Need to take be true. Is that him?
No.
Okay.
Before him.
Before him, right.
The guy who died, Kwakraja.
Yes, Kwakraja.
He started the fight that they are not under the government. And so it is something that should be done diplomatically to get them to agree. You see also that when it comes to Homowo, for example, do you realize that they are celebrated on different dates? Tema celebrates Homowo, I think, on a Friday.
Right.
Nungwa celebrates Homowo 1st July, Sunday. Every Sunday, the first Sunday in July, they celebrate Homowo. Lantejawa will celebrate 2 weeks before Gamachi. And then Osula Peshin will celebrate about 8 to 9 days after. Why is it that if they are all under the Gamache, we cannot have one day where we all celebrate?
Is it not because of the migration story that all the Gasti did not arrive at the same time, and that first of all you open it with the play Joe, a dance for the omnipresent God Okple Jing by the Nungwa people, and then that's within the confines of the Shiche Bobuwulomo, and then it comes to the what do you call it, the Lante Janwe. And then it goes to Mashi and then Osula and that sort of thing. Is that not the case?
Well, if they are all under the government check, that's the issue. Why didn't we issue an edict that this is the way it should go? But it's because they see themselves. Look, Nungwa claim that they are the first to arrive.
Right. Mm.
Yes. So they do their own thing. They are the first to arrive. So these...
Sorry.
These are the issues that confront us.
Is it your view? We don't have too much time at this point. I think we've done more than 45 minutes. That's good for it. But quickly, let's get into the issues of the petition. First of all, I get a sense that the whole idea of the petition that was presented was that the Gun State may not have gotten their fair share of the national cake. On my table here, I see La General Hospital. I see the Kole Lagoon. I see many other different projects. Is that the understanding that the Gun State has not gotten a fair share of the national cake, even though you have all the institutions here and it's become a cosmopolitan area?
In what way does the cosmopolitan area help us? Before Accra became cosmopolitan, those of us who are old, did we have this population explosion of people from all areas coming here? I never knew that people were staying in what we call kiosks. I didn't know. I used to do work. So one day I was doing my work early in the morning. I got to a place where I saw some kiosks. And that's where uncompleted buildings. And I saw people. I said, what is happening? I don't understand. This is an uncompleted building, number one. And two, these are kiosks. So what is happening? I'm telling you, this is what is happening. I came back to ask questions. I said, are those who have come, do they have money to hide places? They don't have any money. And that is what we saw at Agubrushi. You were fighting Nanuma Konkoma war. And then you decided to move to Accra. And you came and saw the government near Mubi. And they said, I have a piece of land at Agubrushi. Can you please go and settle there? After some time, you said, because we are also traders in yam, our people with peace reigning some parts, they will bring us the yam so that we start selling. And so we named it Kokoma Yam Market.
Okay.
Their leader who did this thing was one JJT, who was my course mate. JJT was my course mate at Livon, law school. And he told us the story and everything. Now, after some time, they decided just to take over all the lands around the Kole Lagoon and made it so impossible for the lagoon to breathe anymore. Some of them brought sawdust to choke.
From Arena.
So they can swim. This is what happened. All the money that was sunk into trying to revive it or restore it never worked. It didn't work because the more they tried to do it, the more these people pushed those things there. And for lack of political will, it never happened until recently that we have been able to push them. Now, this was never the story in those days. And so the problem we also see is that government is not doing something right. Why is it that it becomes very common for everybody to wake up and come to Accra? Why? Why are we not preparing their place in such a way that they can get whatever they want there, so that there'll be no need to come here? And try to rather find a solution and talk about what they call cosmopolitanism. What is that? Where the places where they come from, are they not within Ghana? They're not within Ghana. Can't we develop those places? Can't we develop those places so that they can also live in comfort? Why should we neglect the places such that the people will not find any means of survival except by rushing to Accra? And we try to justify and call it cosmopolitan. Go abroad. Don't people live and work outside their own regions? Because with good transportation, you take a train or tram one way and you go and come back. There's no problem. But here, we are being told you can't live where you are, but you should move to come and live in Accra.
Ni La General Hospital, the people of La, Teshi, Nungwai stretches all the way. Some from Osu also come and benefit from the services that were being provided there prior to its demolition. Now, 2 years on, maybe into 3, the project is still not up and running as was promised, and you are not happy about it. But we are in a difficult time. So, wouldn't you rather slow down a bit for government?
It's not true that we are in any difficult times. Have you heard of something they call Agenda 111?
That's right.
Don't we see clips from other regions telling us how they are coming up? Doesn't the president go around inspecting them? Why didn't they add the Nigerian hospital to the 111? When he spoke on the day of cutting the sword, he told us they have already secured funds, not so.
Yes.
He even mentioned insurance. Now, the minister, when quizzed in parliament, went and told them that, yes, they have everything, but they don't have insurance. Can that be true? Can that be true? When we were told that they have everything ready. So we are not convinced by that in any case at all. Our position is that we know that it is doing a lot of harm to the people of land. And that they, having started Agenda 111 from scratch for other regions, the Ghana people who live here also deserve better. And they could do the same thing for us.
How soon do you want this done?
Oh, I mean, as I said, peaceful marches, demonstrations, and the rest, they're just to draw attention. Remember when Kwame Nkrumah came onto the scene, he said this idea of independence in the shortest possible time will not work. But we need to embark on civil-sided disobedience in order to help. And that it should always be peaceful, just like one man, Gandhi, did in India to bring about change. So if you ask me, I've been a proponent of civil-sided disobedience.
Right.
We are not going to use any force. We are drawing attention, and we become a nuisance for other people to see what we are doing.
Okay.
So please, there is no question of anybody saying that we have. We don't have, because the Agenda 111. I saw one in the Eastern region. It appears to be one of the biggest hospitals coming up there. I don't know whether you haven't seen it. A big Agenda 111 hospital in the Eastern region.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
One
So
of the
what are we
districts.
talking about?
Again, one of the placards that are cited yesterday at the Independence Square read, "Stop selling Osu Roman Ridge lands, cantonment lands, Mr. Berchi Achiamfor." You are a lawyer, and I'm sure before you mention somebody's name or put a name on a placard of a such, then you have firm grounding. Another placard said, "We know you, Osu cantonments, land thief." then his name comes again, Mr. Bechi, a champ for We Know You. That's a very strong statement to make. Yes?
I don't know who made it, although I'm aware of the story. I know the program because also people have come to see me. And some of these old bungalows have been given to him to reconstruct and sell out. So I'm aware that is true. And you know the way we do things. I be in charge and writing placards. Some people have been behind it and adding their own. Nobody drew my attention to what you are saying.
Okay.
It was not one of those admitted. I don't know about it, but I know the story that it is true that the lands were given to him, some bungalows were given to him,
right,
to reconstruct and give up. I'm very, very much aware.
You're very much aware.
That the issues surrounding it is that if the lands are acquired land, government can do whatever it likes with it, except that if we want it to be released to us, then we should put up a case.
Okay.
It is nothing extraordinary. Look, the Tema people, after they've taken Tema lands to develop a TDC, it got to a time that they could not find land. So they made noise, and part of the land were released to the Tema Traditional Council for them to give it out to their people. In Nwa, the same thing during Nwa, Kufuor's time, they made a lot of noise, and Kufuor decided to hand over some of the land. Do you remember?
I remember
the
that.
Trataco Valley and what they are fighting there.
I remember that.
All those things were also released to them. And so getting lands released is nothing new, like the proposed stadium complex, because it has been seriously encroached upon.
Okay.
Was also released.
I see.
Committee 23 and I think 23 and 24 or so here. Near Committee 20.
I see.
John said, if you go.
Okay.
Those were also released.
Need a question on the minds of many people is that you are a part or have served as a part of the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo-led government in the first term, well, not in the second term. And it appears that you are hitting hard at the government because this question of Agenda 111, people say you are closer to the corridors of power, you have the ears of those who can act, and so you should have gone to talk to them rather than to come public speaking like this. What do you say in closing?
I'm saying they don't know that the larger hospital, since its demolition, has not seen any reconstruction. Are you telling me they don't know? Are you telling me that when they made the plans for Agenda 111, knowing that they have demolished a hospital, depriving the people of health facilities, it didn't occur to them that they should factor them. Look, the whole of the cabinet, how many languages are there? You have one who is a minister, and you have one who is a deputy minister. You are aware. That is the whole cabinet we have now. And your couple to foreign minister. And then the other person is Tina Ayili Mensa, deputy minister for health. That is all. Well, which role do we play? Which role do we play? So these are just issues that do not wash. I'm not interested in those issues. They don't wash. They don't wash because they know exactly what they are doing. And they don't blame anybody for saying those things. If we have to say it, we have spoken the truth. That is all there is to it. They should rather, if they are forgotten and their attention has been drawn to it, they should just utter it. I've told everybody that in doing certain issues, I don't care about politics. And I'm asking everybody to join us. We know in Accra that most people do NDC. Am I lying?
Right.
Most people do NDC. When you see MPP winning across board, that is when the issues are so annoying to them.
Okay.
Like what like what Mahama came and did the last election. They were so much annoyed with him that they just, being a swing state, decided that they will not vote for him anymore. But otherwise, it's like people ask me, oh, no more, several times why they have to advantage other. They ask me, why don't you just do NDC? So please, what I'm telling them is that I'm not interested in doing any politics. I want all of us, like you, be a certain way. Forget about your office and join us to fight a common cause. That is all.
Ni have spoken extensively to Gamancheme, but they won't listen. And again, sorry, I said in wrapping up, the regional minister, our own Henry Quartey, he is on record to have said that he wants to fix Accra like Jake Otanka Obechebilante had in mind, but he is being fought from within, and the enemy is within. He wants to fight and create a better Accra so that we can live in it and love it. But it's being fought from within. In 30 seconds, what do you say?
I am not aware he was the one who spoke to you as a academic council representing all the factions. Our attention has not been drawn to any such thing. We were here when he went to the Ramsar site and he realized that people were blocking the Sakumo Lagoon and turning it into residential apartments. He took a bulldozer and went and broke down all the fence walls. The next time, there was a meeting with so-called stakeholders. I don't want to describe them, but a meeting with so-called stakeholders at which he made the promise that not even one house, not even one structure would be demolished. Where was the fighting coming from? Where was it being fought from? From which within? The Tema people or who? Or the Numwa people? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I get you.
I am also a politician. So there are things we say. It's not everything you say that should be taken seriously.
I see.
We all saw it when they met. And what he told them was that nothing will happen. And so, as it were, they should go on. So I don't know where the fight is coming from.
I see. Neil, listen to this one.
Told me that, Henry, stop what you are doing.
The
Vice President has not.
Vice President Sonkai.
Office of the President has not. But I will say that there is an internal sabotage from my own party.
Neil, you heard him.
I'm telling you, I didn't say from within, that is the local people. But if you listen clearly, that's from my own party. Because I know that he has said that what we are doing will lead us to lose votes. So it is his party, not the Gadangwis. Nobody is fighting him.
Okay.
We have always supported him.
I see. Ni, thank you so much for your time this morning.
My pleasure. We should be doing more with time.
I hear you.
Especially those of you who are academics to fight a common fight.
I'm playing Wulomes Omanyaba for you.
Right. So can you play Malama Viega Ivia Wusa?
Malama Viega Ivia Wusa.
It has a lot of information in it.
I see. But this one reminds us Asonya Ho dan in Yegbuelo.
Okay.
Aso Mankoyi or dan in Yegbuelo. Tenye ke blofo ma wiete ni mene ameba hon wo lo cha
Malama Viega talks about our own selves.
Right.
Where instead of speaking the Ga language, we go and speak other languages. That's why it's a Malama Viega Ivia Awusa Dong.
Okay. Sani woke.
So you play it, okay.
Sani woke wo gbe me wage ameka me mama ye aka shingbe. Ka wo be ko wo ye ko.
Okay.
Oh, you are no. That's Nia Ikwe, former Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana and former ambassador from Ghana to Canada. And very soon we will host our guest for the Shack Quiz. Yeah, I'm sure Helen will run that for us. Abel Ohini Akwe. Yeah. Abel is a runaway broadcaster.